Go forth, young man. I'm going to start with that one. You good? Okay. Welcome to Creating a Powerful User Defense for Attackers. My name is Benjamin Mauch. Most of you guys know me as Ben 10. Don't worry about pronouncing my last name because it's going to be embarrassing for the both of us. First and foremost, I am blue team, and I'm not ashamed. I want to hear the blue teamers. Come on! We're bringing sexy back to the blue team here right now. That's what it's all about, all right? So a little bit about me. I look like I'm 12 years old, and my mom said it was okay that I come this weekend. I cannot drink. I actually have 11 years of experience in healthcare information systems. I'm actually a vice president and the security officer, and I work with over 35 different hospitals in the Chicagoland area. I started this out as a developer. I went to DeVry and started writing programs when I was 12 years old. So I'm the builder. I'm not a breaker. I'm a defender. That's what I'm all about. I do security consulting and training for a lot of facilities that are outside of just the 35 hospitals that we work with. And I get to deal with all of these wonderful, ridiculous regulations like HIPAA, high-tech, PCI, meaningful use, and red flag. Most of you guys have probably heard of HIPAA, PCI, maybe not so much high-tech, meaningful use, and red flag, but you will. And I'm a manager, so I manage a big team of people. I'm a science geek. I love science. We got Fermilab in Oregon and Chicago, so I get to go over there and do all that. Gamer. My first online game was EverQuest back in 1998. Any EverQuest fans? Yeah? Yeah? All right, there we go. That's when gaming was awesome. But I want to talk about why I'm here. Last year, DerbyCon was my very first information security conference. And I had never been to one, didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anyone. In fact, Andy Cooper was the very first person that I met at a conference. So, I am sorry as well. But DerbyCon last year inspired me to come and talk to you guys. I left DerbyCon last year. I was so excited, so pumped. And I didn't know what to say. I didn't have a cool tool. I didn't have awesome skills. I can't reverse engineer my T-shirt. I don't know any of this stuff. But I was so inspired, I said I had to come up with something to talk about. So I'm new to the InfoSec community. In fact, last year I did not even have a Twitter account, and there's proof right there, is that today is my 1-year Twitter birthday. All right? So TW birthday wished me a happy birthday this morning. I got a Twitter account because of Jason Street, because the first words he looked at me and he said, "What's your Twitter handle?" And I said, "I don't have one." So he told me to get on Twitter. So you guys can follow me on Ben 10. So that's enough about me. What we're going to talk about, first we're going to do a review of some of the defensive strategies that are out there and what I view. We're going to talk about the current security awareness and where that training is. And then I'm going to talk to you about how to actually create a security user defensive layer. We'll talk about some of the tools that I did real quick. We'll go over some acknowledgments, and then I'll open up to questions. So first and foremost, this is the way I view security defense. It's like an onion. And no, it doesn't stink. Sometimes it does. Most of the times it may. But it's not the point. There are layers. It's kind of like the Shrek movie where he was talking to Donkey. It's kind of like an onion, you know? And I've got layers. So there are many different layers. You've got your IDS, your IPS, you've got your firewall, your antivirus, you've got all of these different layers. I'm only going to be talking to you guys about one layer today, and that's the user defensive layer. I'm not going to be talking about all of the technology that may go into some of these other pieces. I only want to talk about one layer. I look at security defense as a multi-layer approach. There's no one solution that's going to solve all of this for you. So when we think about that, we look back at some of the old defensive styles that they had when they had forts. And when they first started doing forts, they would either do a single wall fort, or they could do a multi-wall fort. So there were two advantages and some pros to that. One, they were quick to set up. You get your wall, you get in the land, you get your wall set up, and you're good. It didn't cost very much, didn't take much to maintain. The problem with that is that you only had one point of failure. Once the wall was down, that was it. You didn't have any place to back off to. It gave you this false sense of security. This is kind of like an example in Fort Laramie, Wyoming, is that they got their one wall up. It was great and fine and wonderful, but once that wall was done, that was it. The other approach you have is you have a multi-wall defense or a multi-layer defense. You get multiple checkpoints, you get greater security, but there's a problem with that. It takes an immense amount of resources to maintain and to implement. And it does take longer to actually get to that point. Here's an awesome fort that I found from the Netherlands. You have to pass through like 5 walls, cross 4 different streams just to get into this place. Now that's multi-layered defense. I mean, you're not getting into that place just quick and simple. And that's the approach that I take to security. And that's why I think the user defensive layer is very important. Because I'm a gamer, I wanted to pull in a few things from games. When you think about the way that you do games, you actually learn a lot of security defense in games. And I apply it there. Like, for example, Minecraft. You have multi-layers in Minecraft. Any Minecraft ads? 2 of you. Good job. So you have to create walls. You have to put light sources, traps, close the doors so the bad guys don't get in. There's multi-layer. Tower defense games. You get multiple towers that you have to put into place. You can't just stick with one tower. And each tower does something different. And you can't just put it in and leave it alone. You actually have to upgrade it and maintain it and work with it. It's not a one-stop solution. Here, give me $5,000 and you're set. You don't have to worry about security anymore. The one thing I also like about tower defense games is it actually forces a bad guy to a specific spot. And that's one thing when you think about your security defense, don't think so much about, the focus is not trying to keep them out, it's what happens when they're in. Because eventually something's going to happen, whether it's your fault or just software, O-Day, or whatever the case may be, and bad guy's going to get in, and what are you going to do at that point? Then you look at your capture the flag. And this is the way I look at what our security defense at our company. I think of us as a team. We have to work together when we're trying to get to that flag or protect our own flag. We have a plan for when the base is going to be breached. It's going to be breached at one point or another. Whether you want it to or not, you have to come with that reality. So what are you going to do when the flag actually gets taken? The biggest point is that when you're playing these games, if you don't have strategy buy-in by your team, you're going to lose. And a lot of us right now, we don't have any strategy buy-in from our team, and our team are our users. And this is what ends up happening. You know, we've got both people going both ways with our flags, and we're sitting there waving at each other. So think of security defense like an onion. I'm only talking about one layer today. There are many different layers. As I just explained to you, I only want to talk to you about one. Expect a layer to fail. One of your technology layers is going to fail. One of your user layers is going to fail. Do you have another layer for in that event? You need team buy-in. You have to weigh the cost. And first and foremost, you can't panic about this. I don't need you guys running back to the company saying, oh my gosh, we have so much to do and so much to put into place because we've only got one layer. Just relax. So what is the current state of user security awareness? The current state of security awareness is that it sucks. Basically, we have a lot of users right now who leave the doors wide open to our networks, and they let the bad guys in. We can have as many walls as we want. We can put up many different towers, but the users are still on the inside, and we give them the ability to come and go as they please. And all it takes is one click from your users on most instances, patched or unpatched, because you've got the 0 days. I mean, the Java IE 0 day, that was fun, the third time. Users are still letting the bad guys in. So, you know, you put all these controls in place. Well, I'm just going to put more technology in. Well, let me tell you something. Users have enough aptitude to bypass your controls for their ineptitude. They do. They don't need to be hackers anymore. There are so many services out there that they can just go out there and get it. Hide my ass, Provoxy. They have so many different tools out there that will bypass everything that you've just put in place. Because if they want it in your organization, they're going to find a way to get it. You can't just assume that your technological controls are going to keep you guys safe. Without this layer, you guys are still at risk for a big problem. Organizations are now considering whether security awareness training is worth retaining. There was a huge debate, and don't worry, I'm going to get my nerd rage on in a minute. And I don't blame them. I mean, when you see statistics like this of 80% of 400 plus West Point cadets clicked a link embedded in a phishing email after 4 hours of security awareness training. When you see those types of statistics, as an organization, I can say, why are we wasting all of this money? Why are we investing thousands upon thousands of dollars to do security awareness training when their users are still going to do whatever they want to do? And think about it, 90% of all malware requires human interaction. So here we have our security awareness training. 90% of all the malware we've got requires the user to do something, and we're stuck here in the middle saying, forget it. Let's just throw up our hands and let's just forget this, and we'll buy more software and hardware, and we'll keep buying more software and hardware until we can find something that's going to stop this. The fact of the matter, it's not. It's not going to stop unless you fix this layer. Being in healthcare, this was a tough graph for me, and you may not be able to see it very well, but of 2011, of the number of data breaches, this isn't number of records, this is actually number of incidents, 43% was healthcare. The number of total breaches. There's a problem here, folks. When healthcare has more breaches than the government and education, financial, ours, media, computer software, retail combined, there's a problem. And this isn't a technology problem, this is a user training problem. Because even the past week before I got here, one of the doctors decided that he was going to take some records home, put them on his laptop, took it on vacation. The laptop got stolen and it was unencrypted. This is not a technology problem. This is a user training problem. And so this debate really started with a blog post or an article that was written by Dave Eitel, the CEO of Immunity Incorporated. One of the things he says, if there's one myth in the information security field that just won't die, it's that an organization's security posture can be substantially improved by regularly training employees in how not to infect the company. They're trolling me because they want to see my nerd rage. He goes on to say, a user has no responsibility over the network, and they don't have the ability to recognize or protect against modern information security threats any more than a teller can protect a bank. Now, I could go nerd rage just on that one alone, but that's not even all that bad. This is where I get angry. Employees can't be expected to keep the company safe. In fact, it is just the opposite. Security training will lead to confusion more than anything else. I read that, and I immediately went Super Saiyan. That's absolutely ridiculous. You cannot tell me that you can throw enough technology, enough money at this problem and solve it. And to sit there and say that this is the only solution because of the statistics that we have is asinine. We can fix this problem, and it starts with us. But the first part of fixing the problem is figuring out why we have it. So why is security awareness training failing? In my professional experience and opinion, it's because of user apathy. Why do they care about your security policies? You're doing stuff that inhibits their ability to do their job. Why do they care? Part of the problem is this.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hello, IT. Yeah, have you tried turning it off and on again?
Hello, IT?
Something's wrong with my computer.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
No. Oh dear, thanks.
Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Hello, IT? Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you tried sticking it up your arse?
This is the user's perception of us. We're intolerant, we're impatient, we're impolite, and we're irritating. And that's our own fault. And that was me too. I'm not excluding myself from this picture at all. People would walk into my office and be like, "Oh, I've got a problem with my keyboard." What's your problem? It's not working. Okay, I'll go over there and look at it. I pick it up, and tea is draining out of the keyboard. What's this? Oh, I spilt tea. Is that a problem? No, it likes water. It's like a plant. You need that to let it grow. But that's part of the problem. I mean, yeah, we all get frustrated with our users. And we think, man, why can you not just figure this out? And that's okay. I mean, it's a little bit of a stress reliever for a lot of us. But the fact of the matter is, we need them on our team. And if you want them on your team, you can't ridicule them like that. They're not going to be a part of this team if you're constantly berating them and making fun of them. Part of the problem is this is the way that we see the users. I seriously hope that was like a setup of a picture. Otherwise, those guys are dead. We looked at them as inept, ignorant, irresponsible, illiterate. Did you RTFM? We don't take the time for it. So what happens? We have two parts of this layer, parts of this team that aren't working together because we won't want to figure out a way to meet together in the middle, and this is what ends up happening. Failure. This is our security defense right now. We've got these risks. So when we've got these two pieces of the puzzle not meshing together, no wonder organizations are saying, forget it, let's just put this money someplace else. It doesn't matter how great of a security awareness training program you have. If your users don't care, it will be ineffective. It doesn't matter how great of a security awareness training program you have. If your users think you don't care, it will be ineffective. One of the things that I had to learn is that if I didn't show that I actually cared about the people that I want on my team, there wasn't going to be any change. They just saw me as a jerk. I was irritating. I was short with them. They didn't want to come in and ask me questions. Every time they walked in my office, I went, what? Can't you see that I'm busy solving the world's problem against the cyber wars? I have a cyber war right here on my computer. And you're bothering me with the keyboard issue? But that's part of the problem. Because if I say that because of one thing, why would they want to come to me and say, hey, I've got a problem with this computer and it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing? Why would they want to? Because you've already communicated to them right now that you don't want to talk to them. And you wonder why they don't report anything. Security training doesn't mean that you're accomplishing security education. Now, I don't want to create a new term. I'm not going to say security awareness education. I'm going to use it a couple times, but I'm not trying to come up with a new term. But training doesn't mean education. This is a training. This is not education. Education is when you come alongside that person and you have an invested relationship with them that you want them to learn. This is not sitting in a conference room with a security manual the size of the Oxford Dictionary, and you're sitting there yelling at them that if they do something, they're going to lose their job. That's training. That's not what we did at our organization. That's not how we created a user defense layer. We actually created security education. So where are we at with security awareness training? First, it's broken. What's going on right now is not working. Users are apathetic to security. The punishment-based models, they're failing, obviously. Incentive-based models, however, and we're going to talk about this, create excitement. Training does not equal education. Your users have to want to learn. You can talk at them, but it's up to them to want to actually learn. So how do you create a user defense layer with security awareness training? You can stand in front, make a flow chart for them, figure out how to actually have a friendship or a relationship, go through all of your manuals and stuff like that, or you can actually come alongside them. So what is it? I'm going to tell you what we guys decided to do. We tried the model where we sat everyone in the conference room. We told them our security policy, said if you click this, you're going to lose your job because all of the bad guys in the cyber wars are going to come in and it's going to be death panic and North Korea is going to be here. We tried that. It didn't work. No one bought into it. So I changed the way that I interacted with the people. I had to do this ahead of time. And then I said, let's do this. Let's create a competition. And what we did is we set up real live actual events for them to actually become a part of. If they reported a security incident, they got points. The person with the most points at the end of the week got a $100 Visa gift card. If you were in a certain bracket, you could get a $50 Visa gift card. If you were in the next bracket, you could get a $25 Visa gift card. If you were in the next bracket, you could at least get a $10 Subway gift card. And if you only reported one thing, you got a $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. That was it, $5. I took $1,200 out of my budget, and I was able to do this for 80 people for an entire week. And let me tell you, they got excited. They got so excited that 15 minutes after I announced the competition, I get a call. Hi, I found one of your security incident thingies. The competition hasn't started yet. Oh, there's this little box that says unauthorized access on one of our facilities that I'm dialed into. I usually just click OK, but I thought this was part of your competition. Sure enough, they had an unauthorized access at one of our facilities that she had been clicking OK for the past 6 weeks. Do you see the difference, though? They got excited because it was something for them. We created real-life examples, real-life threats. We did not do this in a conference room. So I'm going to do a live example. I need a volunteer. Okay. Lopi, coming up. Can you guys give Lopi a hand? You're going to have to climb. That's all right. Okay, so let's stand over here because we'll need to do something. So I do know Lopi, but let's just, for this instance, let's just pretend that you and I don't know each other. Okay? Hi, nice to meet you. I'm going to be talking to you about a new security procedure that I want you to do. Now, the thing about it is you have to do it right now, or I'm kicking you out of my talk. If you didn't know me, though, what would probably be your first response? You have to do this right now in front of all these people, right now, or I'm kicking you out of my talk. This is my first talk. I'm nobody in the InfoSec industry. What would probably be your response?
I'd be like, let's do it, I'm a boss.
Okay. Most people would probably just say, see you later. Who are you? You're Ben 10. Who cares? Now let's try this, and let's see if this works a little bit better. Okay, so I want to do an example for my talk here, and to do that, I want you to do something with me. Now, this is a new security thing, and I want it to be done, and I know it's going to be a little bit different for you, but however, if you do it with me, hold on. I'll give you $50. Okay, so there's $50. All right, so here we go. This is the new security model that everyone's going to be working on.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Oppan Gangnam Style.
All right, give Chris a big hand here. That would scare the crap out of anyone. I told you, I warned Georgia ahead of time that I was going to be doing that. I said she would know when I was going to interrupt her conversation, so she got her crowd to do that for me. Now I need another volunteer. Think about what I just did. I need another volunteer. I've got another $50. I need another volunteer. Are you volunteering? Come on up. That's it. Now I need another volunteer. Look around the room. Look at the difference. What did I do? I created incentive. That's the difference. You guys could give a flying whatever for what I'm trying to do up here, but there's something in it for you. It cost me $100 to get you guys to realize that right now. And that's a cost that's well worth it. That's the idea that we need when we are trying to get our users excited about security. This is what our VP of Administration had to say after we did this. I believe our corporation, after Ben instituted his new security awareness program, is more secure than it has ever been. Instead of only the IT department being on guard for possible security breaches, Ben, through respect, friendship, and then education, has enlisted an army of over 80 associates to protect our corporate security. This is somebody in VP and marketing administration, and she gets it. She's not technical. She gets it. because we made it fun, we made it exciting, and we found an incentive. IT, one of my guys in IT, he said, it's been great benefit to know that everyone is trying to keep the highest security they can. It has been an overwhelming positive experience and fun at the same time. He said this about working with users, that it was fun. We created an environment that got all of our users excited about security because we created an incentive for them that they wanted to identify the security risks. So how do you do this? How do you put this together? The first thing, you have to sell it to the executive team. You have to sell it to your IT and InfoSec team. You have to sell it to the users. Choose an appropriate size for your organization. Make it about learning and not training, and make it repeatable. So when you sell it to the executive team, I stole a quote from Jason Street. If making a pie chart will get the executives involved with security, I'll bake them a freaking pie. And that's what it is. You have to make the graphs. You have to make the spreadsheets. You have to do the cost analysis to show them, I want to invest $1,200 to get these guys excited about security, and it's going to affect us in other ways because it's actually going to save us money because the users are going to not click on things like a jaded security type thing. So this should be jaded security endorsed training here, because we're teaching people not to click on things unless they pass it through your departments. Show how it actually helps employee morale. People were so excited. They were competitive too. Oh my goodness, they were reporting everything. You've got a letter off on your signature. That's a security incident. I want 50 points. The door was left open. I want 100 points. One of the things I did was I actually taped the door on the employee-only door that you have to put a pin to enter. I taped it with gaffer's tape, and it made a instead of the normal closing sound. And it was fun to watch on the surveillance cameras, watching everyone walking in. They go, and then they just keep walking. And then it's cool when a couple people get back and say, hey, there's a problem. One person, even during the security competition, they went and they took the tape off. They're like, yeah, someone taped it, so I took it off for you. So, I mean, I was trying to get everyone to recognize it. I'm like, well, that was great, but you should have checked with me first. But it was awesome. They actually saw something that was out of the ordinary. So you need to sell this to your IT team. The other thing is you have to sell it to your, sell it to your executives, but then sell it to your IT team. Show how it's actually going to make their jobs a lot easier. It will, because your users are going to want to learn what you're trying to teach them. They're going to want to be a part of it because they want to win the competition. They want the $50. They want to be a part of it because it's a competition. You make an incentive for them, they will then learn. Have your IT team be part of the decision making and let them be the bad guys. You guys get to send out the payload to all the computers. I need one of you guys to grab a friend to come in with a bunch of boxes, stand at the employee door, wait for the door to open, and see if someone holds the door for you. Get them involved. Have them be the bad guys to break in and enter. This is the toughest part. We have to sell it to the users. And the first thing we have to do is we have to regain their trust. We have to get past our own elitist mentality and how awesome we are and understand that we have to work with these people. We have to be in an environment where we can support them without ridiculing them. Now, I understand it's hard. It really is, because some of these things are really basic, and we're like, seriously? Really? You were just here 15 minutes ago with the same issue. I get it. And Dual Core even wrote an entire song dedicated to help desk woes. I get it. But we have to not treat them like that. Because if we want them on our team, we can't treat them like crap. You also have to provide user education. That's not sitting in a conference room. That's not even this competition. These are just those little things that you send out every now and then. Hey, wanted to let you guys know, Facebook is having this issue. It's doing this. It's putting everyone's pictures, public, whatever the case may be. I know a lot of you guys have kids that are on Facebook. We just wanted to let you guys know this so you can go check and make sure that all of your kids are safe. That's it. 10 minutes out of your day. You're providing little tidbits of information for them every once in a while so that they can actually learn. And before you do the competition, before you do any of those events, send out an email ahead of time. This is how you spot problems that are out of the ordinary with an email. If you get an email with a PDF and you see EXE anywhere in the name, come talk to us first. I mean, it could be like Pexis PDF, which is probably okay, but we still want to know. If you get something out of the ordinary, we want to know. And that's the only thing I taught them. I did not go through and teach them all of the different security things that are out there. Their heads would explode. The only thing I said, if you see anything out of the ordinary, I want to know about it. And even if it was something benign, I still thanked them. And I said, good job, great, keep it up. You have to find out what their incentive is. Obviously, you're not going to do a pork roast if all of your team members are vegans. That's not an incentive for them. You have to find out what their incentive is. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. It could just be points, PTO, whatever the case may be. But that's something you have to work with your executives, your CFOs, your CISOs, and CIOs. And you have to make it fun. And you guys have to have fun right along with it. You have to choose an appropriate size. A lot of people will say, well, you did this for an organization of 80 people. There's no way I could do this for an organization of 15,000 people. Well, yes, you can. You just have to do it in a different way. You have to break it up. Obviously, you're not going to do a security competition for all 15,000 people at the same time. There's just no way it would work. But you have to break it up. And in the same way that you wouldn't do security training for all 15,000 people at the same time. You have to break it up. So you break it up into smaller manageable teams, and you can find the incentives that don't break the bank. You don't need to spend $15,000, $20,000 on a group of 70 people. You don't. You need to find something that works for your users and that user base. You have to make it about learning. You can't berate or ridicule someone during these training events when they don't spot something or when they click a link. Say, yeah, you click the link, and that's what, this is how the bad guys decide to do it, and this is how they trick you, and this is really bad. And next time, just don't do that. If you berate them, if you ridicule them, then that only embarrasses them, and they're not going to want to be a part of this team. You need to come alongside, coach them, educate them, and have them be about it, and have them be a part of it. You also want to make this repeatable, something that you can do on an often basis, because not everyone's there all the time, not everyone remembers all the time, so you want to make sure that it's repeatable. And you change it up a bit. Some of the tools we use, I'm not going to do tool demos. You guys there are many other presenters that are here that'll give you plenty of demos and show you how to use these tools. But I sent emails out. I put links in them, put hidden links, whatever. We use SET to clone USPS.gov, and we use that to see if they would stop to see an invalid certificate warning. I use Metasploit to actually encode calc.exe and replace it on everyone's computers, just to see if the antivirus would pop it up and if they would actually report it. The other thing I'm working on is I was talking with HD Moore about what are some benign applications, because obviously when you're doing the training, you don't really want to be dropping payloads on everyone's computer and forgetting to clean it up and leaving it there for the bad guys. So I'm actually in the process of creating a payload that will either send a PDF file with a certificate pointing back to your server so you can actually see if they've opened it or not, or an application that they can put on the desktop that when they open it, it just sends you a report, yeah, they opened it, but doesn't do any damage to their system. And so if I actually create that payload, it'll actually be called Ben 9. So, written by Ben 10. And then get your friends involved. You've got to be able to get your friends involved so that they can be part of the security awareness training, the security defense team, and everything that goes along with it. There are many different ways that you can get your users involved in your security defense. This is not about us. The technology that we can buy is about us. This is not about our egos or anything else like that. This is about getting all of our users on the same team at the same time. We had so many people that came up to us and reported many of the things. And now, I'll tell you, some of the people started to cheat. They're like, yeah, this is a security incident. Go tend it real quick. And so you have to watch out for that, but they still got excited. And even to this day, they're still sending out emails saying, hey, I got this email at home, and it looked like this, but I remember from the competition that you said this is how the bad guys do it, and I just deleted the email. Great job. Good job. Because when you teach them how to take care of themselves at home, and I'm stealing this from Jason Street's talk, when you teach them how to take care of themselves at home, it boils over to your organization. So, in conclusion of the talk, so we can have plenty of time for questions and comments, this is one layer. This is not a one-stop solution. This is not going to fix all of your problems if you get this one thing right. You still need your IDS, your IPS, your WAF, and every other acronym you've got out there. But to say that security awareness training is failing and we might as well abandon it is complete idiocy. We can be a part of the solution. We can get all the users on the same team at the same time. It all starts with us. So before I take some questions, I do want to do some shout-outs to Jason Street. He's actually the one that told me to present this talk to you guys, so if you didn't like it, it's his fault. Security Mowing and Elizabeth Marty, they really helped me get this together. Core Music for letting me play his music, and of course DerbyCon. So this is how you get a hold of me. Twitter, Ben10, ben10.com, DerbyCon at Ben10 for emails, and I'm on Freenode. So any questions? Yeah. So the question was, we've got some testimonials, but do we have any actual metrics showing the difference between the two? I think the first metric for sure is that the one user that came up to us and said, I've been clicking this link for the past 6 weeks, and once I saw your security competition, I reported it. And we typically don't have a lot of incidents of viruses. We've actually been very fortunate that we've actually not had a virus in over 2 years. So we don't have a lot of issues to where we can say, well, we were at 0 viruses and we're still at 0 viruses. But what we do have is a higher increase of reports to our security email. During the security week, we received over 1,000 emails of security incidents being reported. And on a given week, we get about 600 right now. So whereas we weren't getting any, now we're getting 600 emails every week saying, hey, is this a security incident? We reply back saying yes, no, whatever the case may be. And we're actually getting a lot of stuff from their homes because they realize that we actually care. The question was, do we have to hire an extra FTE to go through 600 emails? And the fact is no. In fact, I answer a lot of them myself. Even though I'm a vice president and I have lots of other guys that do a lot of work for me, and I don't like physical labor anymore. That's what I have the guys for. I take this as seriously, and I will personally thank the customer service representative who sent me an email. Any other questions about how to get this set up? Yeah. What I did is every year we do go through the security manual policy. We just want to make sure it's a refresher course. We want to make sure that they actually remember a lot of the things that are going on. The question was, how did we introduce it? And so we went that meeting, and instead of me going through the entire manual, of which they already knew, I actually said, hey, we're going to do a competition. And these are the prizes that go along with it. We're going to give you guys some training. We'll give you guys some examples of how actually some of these things are set up. And then we're going to do it, and if you get the prizes, or if you get the points, then you get this awesome prize. And they got all excited. They got all competition. We actually created a plaque for the winner, and she was in accounting. And unfortunately, a lot of organizations, HR and accounting, are some of our hardest places to keep safe. And she was in accounting, and she was so proud of it that she hung it right up in her cube so that everyone can see. And she loved the fact that she won the competition. And so it was a huge deal, and now everyone wants the next one to come really fast. Yeah. What were some of the most esoteric security violations that people were reporting? Okay, so I'm stupid. What's esoteric? Okay, so out of the norm, the real or from the security competition? Oh, okay. Well, we got them all. We got, there's a light on the security alarm that wasn't there before. That's always been there. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. The door made a weird sound when it opened this morning. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. When I got in, the computer was off. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. When I logged in, there was a thing that said, "Welcome to our network. Please review the security policy." Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Thank you very much. But the cool thing is that that's exactly what I wanted. And I didn't get annoyed. I didn't get irritated. I didn't say, would you guys please stop talking to me about the stupid things? Because it would have blown everything I was trying to do out of the water. I said, thank you. Yes, it is. But a lot of people started looking at stuff that they had never looked at before because they were going so fast. Every time that there was an error message, they would stop because, oh, this is a security incident. Because how many people just click OK? I mean, have you sat at someone's desk? Okay, what's the problem? Well, I click on this and bonk, click. I need to see that. Can you do it again? Bonk, click. No, leave the box up so I can read the screen. Yes. The users knew that there were going to be staged incidents, but they did not know that necessarily that every incident they reported was an actual incident. The CEO, her husband, came into the suite one day, and we had just started with our security badge policy. And he was kind of anal retentive about it, and he said, no, I'm not putting on a badge. And they had just heard that day that anyone that you see in the suite, if you report it, you get 100 points. Because that's... And so I'm watching on the security cameras, and he comes in, and he's standing there, and he's an ex-cop, so it's like nothing phases him. And I get a call. Gary's here without a badge. I said if anyone comes in, and bam, the emails just lit up like 50 people. Gary's here without a badge. And so, but there was one other security incident where we actually had our alarm vendor in, and our server room is on a separate alarm system from our main suite so that it can be turned on and off independently. And they were in there, and they forgot to actually reactivate the alarm and lock the door. And I didn't know that. And one of Brad Womack's, the one guy I quoted, he actually came up and he said, hey, I just want to let you know, the security. When I went to go check, I checked on the security room door just to see if you were testing us, and it was unlocked and the alarm wasn't set. And so I gave him 200 points for that. So they are looking for more things. If you make it fun, make it engaging, they will want to try and find some of these things for you. We can't be everywhere. We can't do everything. We can't buy enough technology to solve all these problems for us. Any other questions? So the question was, it sounds like we're doing this to incentivize reporting, but how can we do this to change other behavior? It happens automatically, actually, especially when you do that user education and you're sending out those emails to people saying, I'm actually caring about what you have to say, and I'm caring about your home and your kids. They are actually coming in back later, and it is changing their behavior because they're like, yeah, I got a call from this guy who said I had viruses on my computer, and I think I might, but I remember you sending out that email that they were doing this, and so I hung up on them. It changed their behavior.
So even without having specific points for those things, just that involvement in their mental state brought about that change.
That's exactly right. And part of it is that I had to change my attitude towards them when they were reporting things, because they didn't feel like they could come into my office and talk to me about these things. And personally, I didn't want them to because frankly, I didn't care, and that was a problem. I didn't care about them, and so they didn't want to be a part of it. There was another question back there. Okay, so the question was, were there common problems before the security competition, and after the competition, did they stay solved, or did they come back? Was that correct? Okay, so one of our common problems was the quickly clicking OK on every single dialog box that pops up, and we're now getting more reports of those dialog boxes that they hadn't seen before, and they were actually reporting things for some of our remote hospitals that they didn't even know about because they would just quickly click OK. So the biggest thing is they're slowing down and they're spotting things that are out of the ordinary. So yeah, definitely. Any other questions? No, actually I didn't. I didn't have to battle with them because I made them a part of the team. I let them learn how to encode, calc.exe with MSF console, and they liked it because I made them part of being the bad guys, and they got to ask their friends to come in and say, hey man, this guy wants you to break into our company. It's gonna be cool. You're not gonna get arrested, seriously. And so they really bought into it because they got to be the red team, so to speak. So I really didn't have much problems with that. No. Yeah. Because we're not that big of a company, so our security department is our IT department. So yeah, they were together. Any other questions? Yeah.
On your responses that you got,
Mm-hmm.
do you have any idea about like the 600 responses you got? What was like chat that you just threw out there? What was stuff that was done that you didn't worry about? What was stuff that you had to act?
You mean actual incidents that's not security related? Okay. So the question was of how many of the incidents that were reported were actual incidents and not part of the security conference. The fact of the matter is that we probably received out of the 600 emails that we got, we probably act on probably about 5 to 10% of those, which, if you think about it, is a lot. Because the fact of the matter is that's 5 to 10% of security incidents and things that were happening out of the ordinary that users were not reporting. And all it takes is one incident for your system to go down. So as long as, and I'm telling you, as long as I get one email from a person of an actual incident, I'm ecstatic. That means that my job has been a success because that's one incident that I would not have caught otherwise. Yeah. Yeah, so the question was, now that the competition over is, am I randomly doing red team stuff to keep it going? And actually, yes, we a lot of you guys work with vendors and they like to give out free stuff, and so we got a $15 gas card in the mail last week actually. And so what I did is I sent an email, and I spoofed the headers on the email to make it look like it came from my email is like ben.mauch at my domain, and I did Ben Mauch at my domain. I removed the dot, because I wanted to see how many people would actually recognize that the email was not the same. And just about everyone caught it, just in the from line. And so I'm telling you, this is working, especially when you create that incentive, because these people are competitive. You should hear them at the water cooler. You're going down. I'm going to find this one before you. I'm going to win that. I'm going to spend all my money on shoes. I work with a lot of women. Any other questions? Guys, you've been great. Thank you so much. I appreciate coming to my talk. I also have free stickers and some t-shirts up here if you guys want to come grab them.
Welcome to Next Level Tech Support. Press 01 to be connected to our help desk.